In one of my previous vlogs, we explored this idea of leveling up. You level up in D&D, you get that final experience point bump, and it opens up not only more hit points, but new opportunities for your character in that you get some new abilities, you gain some new spells, you can do different things, leveling up. But at the same time, your gear needs to level up. You've got that +1 sword at level 1. Yeah, that's awesome. That is an amazing achievement. That's a lot of fun. Level 3, it's getting a little tired. Level 4 or 5, if you're still rocking the same +1 gear, unless it's Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, we need to upgrade the gear. We need to keep that moving. So building on that, we're jumping into the various character classes, looking at kind of what gear. What is that standard gear? What is that gear that you want to be out on the look for and you want to acquire? Yes, there's lots of great ways to play D&D and lots of ways to build out individual characters, but based on the strengths and weaknesses of the core character classes, there are certain things which make the game a little bit easier or can account for when the dice go against you, still give you that second or if needed third life. So we're jumping in here with Arcane. Wizard/sorcerer. Slightly different spell delivery, but still very, very potent with how they play the game, understanding that Arcane lives and dies based on the spells. And generally speaking, compared to the other character classes, you're a little bit more squishy. Yes, you could go Dragonborn. Yes, there's ways you can boost your hit points, but you're never going to even remotely match a fighter, a paladin or a barbarian, or even second-tier fighters like a monk. So jumping into the gear, the first thing that I'm looking for, and this is going to be adjusted for level, as we level up, I'm looking for wands. And then as I get enough gold, magic staff. I'm looking for wands of magic missile. I'm looking for wands of sleep. I'm looking for wands of color spray. Various wands that at the lower levels, when it's needed, I'm not going to be blasting this every single turn, but when it's needed, I have some sort of arcane punch. I have something I can pull out of my belt and blast something with. What this means is now at the lower levels where I have less spells, I can maybe focus on other spells than just directly dealing damage, or as I manage my spells, if I'm unable to rest and regain or burn spells, I'm completely out, I still have this wand that can utilize. Now, of course, yes, understanding that every time I blast that, it's gold. We had an interesting encounter years ago where I was the dungeon master and the characters were exploring this cave. They're in the Underdark. They're doing that whole thing. And there's a roper there. Now, this roper has a slightly above average intelligence, and it realizes that if it stays in this spot, lots of adventurers pass by and it can eat the adventurers. It's also realized over time that certain adventurers that wear colorful hats and robes have these like sticks, wands, that if they wave it and they do this, it blasts stuff because the roper's been blasted. And it's learned, well, if I wave the wand, then I can blast other adventurers, meatbags, and consume them. So essentially it's a roper that is utilizing magic wands. So it reveals itself to the party, gets that ambush, starts blasting with wands, and it was a lot of fun. It was like magic missile, sleep, and I think like lightning bolt. The rogue in the party, he's like, we got to kill this thing immediately. He's like, forget about the roper has wands and how it got it. Doesn't matter. Every time it uses those wands, we are losing 180 gold pieces because these are the wands and you break it down by charge and we need to kill this thing immediately. So I frame that in good fun, but it's kind of true. So as a wizard, I don't want to be there magic missile, magic missile, magic missile. I'm blowing through these wands. I need to be mindful of the cost, but I want to have some backup weapon. I want to have some backup weapon, backup magic that is going to utilize if things happen. Now, the second thing that I'm looking to layer over, and of course I'm going to upgrade that as I go. Level 1, 2, and 3, it's going to be magic missile. 4, 5, or 6, lightning bolt, fireball. As I move up, the wands are going to move up. And then eventually they're going to become staffs because they tend to have multiple powers and some of the more powerful spells in the game. Second aspect is I'm looking for gear. It's a little bit different depending on the campaign setting, the supplement, and the addition of D&D. I'm looking to boost my spell capacity. Classic Pearl of Power, classic, Ring of Spell Storing, classic Ring of something where can I just get some extra spells per day? Can I get some extra spells per memorization? Can I get some extra spell slots to burn? Even just one or two are massive. Now, that type of gear gets interesting because to certainly balance out some of the higher level spells that you might get, the ability to cast those, to burn those, opening those up eventually reaches a point where it's so expensive. It gets so expensive where, is it really worth it? Because going in that direction, you're possibly losing other gear. But at the lower to mid levels, I'm on the lookout for that. Now we explore, get the heck out of here. Things have gone kind of really bad. As a wizard, as a sorcerer, as an arcane caster, I have a lot of vulnerabilities. And on top of that, in terms of health and armor class, on top of that, I'm going to be targeted by other monsters with possible intelligence because they're going to realize what I'm doing. So keeping positioning in the party, keeping away, understanding those aspects, tabletop tactica, very important. But occasionally something gets through or the party has to cut and run or someone goes down and you're in a lot of trouble. What do I have to get out of there? Invisibility potion. Now, depending on the addition of D&D, invisibility potions are like candy. They're nothing. Or they're extremely crazy expensive. Just on a side note, go look at Advanced Dungeons & Dragons. Grab the PDF, look at AD&D. Some of the item costs are so expensive, and you're like, whoever is going to have that type of cash flow? It's very interesting to see how not only have magic items evolved, but even the classic items that are consistent through multiple editions. You think about the D&D mythology. You're thinking about like beholders, dragons, a lich, vampire lord. Classic D&D. There are also magic items that are classic across that. So in exploring that, leveling those aspects up and keeping mindful of your character with what's available and what gear you need.